looking further back, it will make it brighter because it will spread the light out some. Looking good. Let's actually give the words some material. Material is something you can mess with for a long time. I'm going to try to do something simple here. I'm just going to add, and I want to try, I want it kind of reflective looking. The only problem is there's nothing to reflect. So if I make it reflective looking, it may just make it black since the background's black. But let's turn on this here, turn up the reflectiveness of it, and hit F12. So far we're just changing the words of his name. Make sure that doesn't look too dark. Yeah, you can see it's darker than the others. Let's turn that off actually. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to find a texture online real quick. I'm just going to Google metal. And I'm going to click images. And we got a different, maybe if I do metal texture. There we go, we got a few different metal looking things here. When you're choosing something, once again, make sure you have the rights to use it. And I'm just going to choose one of these. Okay. I'm going to save that to my hard drive under my temp folder. Save that. I have the words selected. We're on that material. I'm going to choose the texture here, add, image, load, go to my temp folder, choose that image. There it is there. We can package it in so it's inside the blend file here. F12. Let's see how that looks. Might give it a little bit of a, it's a little rougher looking now. I kind of like that better than just the plain gray. Once again, everything's still kind of dark, but we're going to actually animate the lighting here in a moment. And I'm going to go here. I'm just going to, instead of add new, we're going to click this little button here and choose the same material for each one of these textures. F12. Render it out. Looking good. Okay, so at this point, he wants it to be 1.5 seconds, which would be about 45 frames. Seems real short to me, but let's go ahead and do that. We'll just change the end here to 45 because it's 30 frames a second, so 30 would be 1, another 0.5 second would be another 15. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the lighting now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab it right here, and I'm going to hit I. We're on the first keyframe. You can see right here it says 1. I'm going to hit I, and I'm going to lock the location, and I'm going to hit Shift up, moves us to the last frame, which is 45. I'm going to hit G and move the lighting over here. Let's hit F12 real quick to see how that looks. And actually, I may not want the light to move the entire time. I might want it to move over the first second and then kind of hold. I don't know. Let's move it a little bit further back. Let's see, F12 here. That's looking a little bit better, a little bit brighter there. And I'll hit I to lock that in there. If we go back to the first frame, you can see it's right next to there. Let's see how that looks. It's probably going to be pretty dark except for right next to the light there, which is good because it's kind of starting off dark, and then the words will kind of fade in because the light will be getting brighter as it moves out, it'll be spreading out. Okay, and we could also just add some sort of animation. What I'm going to do is we have our center cursor there. I'm going to hit space. I'm going to add an empty. So there's our empty. I'm going to grab our camera, and I'm going to click on. I'm going to shift click our empty here. Hit Control T for track. Track to constant. That means that the camera, no matter where we move it, will be looking at that empty. And we're on the first frame here. I'm going to grab the camera, move it a little bit here, just a little off center. I'm going to lock it. I'm going to go to the last frame. I'm going to grab it. I'm going to move it a little off center here. Lock it. F12. See how that looks. Looking good. Now, normally I would do fade ins and fade outs, but since this is such a short video, I don't want to waste time fading in and fading out. So the users of the video, after I create this, can decide whether they want to add a fade in, fade out effect. Real quick, let's save this. I'm going to save it as IncomeTech 3D_2. Save. And I am going to choose Format FFmpeg. Video, I'm going to use DV, but I'll later convert it to an OGG file to upload, but DV is good for when you're editing. And I'm going to choose where I'm going to render it out to. I'm just going to choose my intros folder here, rendered. Whoop. And we'll call this IncomeTech 3D2. I'm going to leave an underscore there because Blender by default will put the number of frames after that. Once again, Control S, save, and I'm going to click animate, and it will start animating it out. 45 frames, and it's still working on the first frame here. So it took 9 seconds to do that first frame, so multiply that by 45. It's going to take a couple of minutes here, but I will post the final rendering out. And that is simply how you can create a simple little intro like that. Hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Visit filmsbychris.com for more video tutorials like this, and visit IncomeTech.com for great music by Kevin McLeod.